Oh my goodness. My mic was off this whole time. Well, that's embarrassing. So I've been talking to myself for, about 2 minutes now. And, yeah, there was, uh, there was no mic gain. Sorry about that. Anyway, I've got it fixed. I had my microphone off for some reason. I don't know why that is. But it should be working now. Anyway, uh, let me go ahead and briefly recap what I was saying. Jeez. Uh, Yeah, we're picking up our turn setup here from the air orders for China. We're going to hit India, Burma, Dutch East Indies, Philippines, Australia, and that should be it. So, a couple things. As I previously mentioned, we've got issues here. A lot of allied cruisers operating here, and they could be very dangerous for us. We also have issues in southern China in this area, and I will show you those in a minute. So I've already done the ground orders for this turn. I've looked at Northern Pacific. I've looked at the home islands. There's no industry you need to be worried about. Manchukuo is doing fine. In China, we've got our troops continuing up this way, right? And the goal is to get into Kuncheng with as much power as we can and take this base out. That will cut the fuel in the Chongqing. I've already said this, but you guys didn't hear me. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started with air orders here for this turn. So what are our big things that we need to protect? Well, our breakthrough right here is probably one of the most important. So I see a couple places we need to hit this turn. We need to hit here, here, and here, and down here. So we're going to set up our air orders to accomplish that. Those are our 5 main target areas for this turn. So we'll start on it. Let's see here. Let's see what we got here. So we're already hitting that. These guys, we're going to send these guys on a ground attack to that hex there. These guys are going to work on these guys, because I don't want them getting onto any more railroads than they already are. These guys will sweep over this hex to make sure that we don't get cap trapped there. These guys will hit... We'll have them hit here. And then these guys will hit right there. I think what we're going to do is take our... We'll take this, these guys and split up the sweep. So the A is going to go here. And then the B and the C will go here. All right, because hey Sultan, nice to see you, man. I want to make sure that as much as possible, any of the hexes we're gonna bomb are going to have I want to make sure they have some sort of air cover over them, just to reduce the risk of enemy cap traps on those locations. All right, so that's done for those air orders. Now we'll take a look at Aichang, and at Aichang we have some Sallies and some Anns. So we'll do the recon first. I want to get some recon on all these other ground units and what they've got going on. Let's see what exactly we got in this hex. Okay, and then we need to send all these Sallies to right here, because we're gonna bomb this hex because we're breaking through here this turn. So we're gonna set both Sallies to hit that base or this hex. Delicious. All right, so all these air orders are okay. Oh, we still got the ants here, so we're gonna have them hit. Here, one set there, and these guys will hit here. Keep them from moving. Nice. That's all done. And we're gonna have these Tojos fly. Actually, we'll leave them on cap. That's fine. These guys are gonna sweep this hex to give us more air cover there, just in case. Got some more recon to worry about. Let's get some thing on Chungking. Kukong. I want to see what's going on there. Where else do we need to recon? Probably Changsha. See if anything else is moved out of there. Patung. I'm not really worried about Patung. Patung is... Oh, that's what that is. So... Probably some recon... on these guys. Why not? And then... that's it for those guys. And then finally we've got more Sallies coming in here. And I want all of these guys hitting this hex. Because we need to break through there this turn. So we're going to set all level bombers to hit there. And we are also going to sweep there. So I've got 3 different fighter squadrons sweeping that hex because I do not want him showing up there. Alright, so that's it for all these air units up here. I'm going to quickly save this because I just put in a lot of orders. One thing you got to remember when you're doing this game, guys, save every few minutes because it's very easy to... for the game to crash, you to forget something, and you lose a million mouse clicks. Kartrus, yeah, I don't like that 27B map. I don't like all those extra dot bases. There's enough bases on this map as it is. I think 27B is to try to make it easier for the Allies overall, because every base you have to stop and attack slows the Japanese down, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to slow the Japanese down in 27B. That's why Malaya has more bases, China has more bases. I don't like it at all. The only benefit to that is that if you're playing Japan, it is easier to take a base hex than a terrain hex. So I guess it's you know, a mixed bag. I don't like that 27B map. I want nothing to do with it right now. I have no intention of swapping over to that game version at all. Okay, now let's talk about our situation down here real quick, actually, at Puchang. We're going to deliberate attack here again to try to dislodge this unit. And down here, he's got about 400 AV in this area. I just really don't care anymore. So what I'm looking to do here now is combine as many divisions as possible and move on. I'm done messing with this guy. I don't really care what these units do, because as long as they're down here, they're not going to be up here in Changsha. So I'm in the process now of moving everything I can further north. Renew, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. And then these guys are all in combat move mode because I learned my lesson. I don't want to move in something other than combat mode anymore after what happened at Luchao the other day. Alright, so that's all good to go. So, I am getting a little wary. He's got a lot of forces down here now. Probably close to 2k AV all said and done. And he's obviously weakened us at Luchao. There is a possibility he may move on Canton. So I am moving troops to Canton to reinforce it. Now that is an urban heavy base, it would be very hard for him to take it, but I don't want to even risk it because Canton is crucial to my operations here. So I am going to move to reinforce it just in case he does get the idea to get offensive here and start heading down in that direction. Okay, so here's my problem right now, guys. These are the troops that were defeated last turn in Luchao. I currently have them moving towards Nanning. However, last turn, these guys only moved 22 miles. Normally, a unit that has low fatigue will move 30 miles in move mode. So, for one, we're lagging behind. We need to clear 46 miles to leave the hex. Here's the second problem I have, though, guys. And this is something that I just figured out. It's probably good if you listen to this because it's what I consider to be a bug. I, before today, had all of my units assigned to follow the army headquarters. So I gave the army headquarters orders to move to Nanning, and I put everything to follow it. Just, it's easier that way. That way I don't have to issue 1,000 separate orders for the units, right? But here's a problem. On 2 separate occasions now, in the last 10 turns, I've had headquarters units not go into a hex when enemy were there. Everything else goes. They do not. Let me give you 2 examples of that. From this hex to this hex, when we crossed over, I had the Mongol garrison army as the lead unit, right? So here's what happened. All the units moved in. All the infantry divisions moved in that were set to follow the Mongol garrison army. But the Mongol garrison army reset the movement to 0 miles and did not go into the hex. Okay? So that was a pain in the butt. I didn't understand what happened. Then, secondly, these 5 divisions I had set to follow the 12th Army headquarters into this hex. So guess what happened? On the 4th day, all the divisions moved here, and the Army headquarters reset movement and did not move. And I don't know why. It's a pain in the butt, but I think this is a game bug. But the problem here now is that I have another corps headquarters leading a bunch of troops into Nanning, which is an enemy-occupied hex. So here's what I think is going to happen. We're going to safely clear this hex and get in here. But then, he is going to move behind us and shock attack into this hex. And the only unit that's going to be left is this army headquarters. So we stand to suffer a lot of casualties here when this unit is probably not going to move with the rest of them. And it's going to get caught up behind this advancing troops from freaking Luchao. So I am very worried about this for this next turn. I think this is a bug. I didn't realize this was happening until now. I've confirmed it on 3 different occasions now where my army headquarters did not move even though they were the lead unit. So we may lose this army headquarters next turn. So here's what we're going to do to try to help it. I'm going to take every available bomber that I got. Right? I'm going to recon Luchao. Then I'm going to take every bomber that I possibly can and set it to ground attack in Nanning. No, not Nanning. In Luchao. So what I'm hoping is going to happen here is that we hit all the ground troops in Luchao and knock them out of move mode so that we buy us another turn to clear this hex. I still may not save this army headquarters, but it should hopefully save the rest of these guys coming in behind it. So every bomber is going to target the ground troops here. And then we're going to fly long range cap. Let's see here. Escort. We're going to long range cap this hex because I want to make sure that we don't get bombed here. In case he wants to bring bombers in to try to knock us out of move mode, I'm going to put some fighters here to cover these guys, hopefully. And on top of that, we're going to send these guys on a sweep to Luchao. I don't think he's got any substantial aircraft that is capable of cap trapping us here. He'd have to fly from at least, I don't know, what, Lido? That's theoretically possible if he had P-40s, but the P-40s are deep into India now, so I don't think he's got any fighters in China that have the range to really help it to hurt us here, but all the same, I'm going to cover my bases, cover my tracks. So these troops are going to hopefully all move into Lu Chao next turn into safety and help take this base from him. And my bombers will hit his troops here and slow them down. I'm going to fly long range cap here and a sweep there. And that's basically all of our moves for China. Whew, that's a mouthful. Yeah, so let me say that real quick. And then we're going to work on the Philippines real quick here. All right. So I think I've got some troops unloading. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right. So Philippines, real briefly here. He's now in Cabanatuan, Vegan, also in this hex right here. Okay, but it's all fine because I have enough troops in Manila to hold this place down. So I'm not worried about whatever he's doing up here. I think we're going to go ahead and hit Clark Field again. Actually, no. We're going to hit Bataan today. We'll set all... Well, actually, I don't want to do that. I'll do it manually because I have one unit set to ASW right now. If I do set all, it'll screw it up. ASW. So these guys are flying ASW patrols right now. I got some pretty decent pilots here. These should be enough to easily detect enemy subs. These guys are going to hit Clark, Bataan. Recon Bataan, Recon Clark. These guys hit Bataan. And then I have these guys. I'm going to relocate these guys somewhere else. It's a Mavis unit. I'm probably going to fly it over to Marcus Island to give me some more naval search here. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. Probably Marcus. Alright, let me make sure I got everything on a mission here. Bataan, Clark. Bataan. Bataan. Oh, I see a Clark Field there. Okay, good. Alright. Luzon is done. Right now, oh, hey, Yamaguchi. Nice to see you, Admiral. Yamaguchi, specifically for, Bataan and Clark, I am using 8K because I find that whatever AA they've got here really can't reach there. I don't think they've got much of anything. I'm pretty sure the biggest AA that they might have is going to be... Let's look at the anti-aircraft weapons. I think they only have maybe some 1.1 inch guns. These are the Chicago Pianos, right? They have a max altitude of 6,600. A lot of 50 cal machine guns, right? And they only go up to about 3,600. They may have some 37 millimeter or 20 millimeter, which only go to 6. Possibly. Oh, that's it. Yeah, I think that's the biggest stuff they've got in the Philippines. So I find that flying at 8K is nice and safe, but only here. Anywhere else, basically any allied place that I can't guarantee that they don't have AA in, I fly at 10,000 feet when bombing, and here's why. The allies have these things which are absolutely deadly. It's the 40 millimeter, right? The Bofors. And these have a max altitude of just under 10,000 feet. And these Bofors will rip up and tear up your aircraft like it's nobody's business. So I fly at 10,000 feet if I think or even have a remote concern that there's going to be 40 millimeter guns there. But I guarantee you, because I've played allies, that the allies in Luzon do not have 40 millimeter guns here. So that's not a concern. And in China, I fly between 3 and 6 because they basically have nothing. There is some AA over here in Chongqing, but it's not too bad. Between 3 and 6 on these out bases or ground hexes, and 8K for the bases. Yes. Um, Llama, good morning. Nice to see you. It's what time is it here? I got 4:18 p.m., 16:18 here in Southern California. So we're done with China. We're done with Luzon. Let's take a look at um, Mindanao. So I've got a blocking force here at Oroquieta. I'm moving a second SNLF unit here and a third from Davao. These guys are in no rush to get there. And our strategy here at Malaybalay is very similar to the strategy that we have for basically Luzon. I'm letting these guys starve out because they just don't have a lot of supply here. And they're going to eat their own supply. Malaybalay's max supply level is 8,000 anyway, so he can't have more than 8,000 supply here. And any day now, he's going to start running low. So we're just going to let these guys starve and die on the vine. And I'm going to leave a few SNLF units here, and we'll slowly pick at these guys until I feel like they're ready to go, ready to be attacked, which I'm in no rush for right now. I don't need Malaybalay anyway. It's only worth 8-point swing. This base did swap over due to proximity, and I currently have an SNLF company moving to retake it. And then that'll close up any possibility of him delivering supplies to these guys right here. Okay, let's take a look at Burma right now. I am moving... Let's see, put these guys on rest. I'm currently waiting. I want to take Magway, but I'm going to do it carefully. So I'm sending a Japanese Air Force unit up here to secure the base. And then as soon as it's taken, I'm going to strat move a second one up in here. And I'm going to put fighters in this hex to protect it from bombing. Because I got to have this oil. I got to have this refinery. And once I take that, that cuts off another fuel supply source to Chungking. I'm also advancing on Tungi from this direction. And once I have Magway, or once these guys get out front of these ones, I'll continue moving towards Lashio. And he's going to have some serious supply concerns here because we're well on our way to cutting off these guys in India. So that's all we're doing there. Okay. That's all basically it for Burma right now. We'll take a quick look. Let's see. Third SNLF. Where is the third SNLF? Did it already get into... Where is the third SNLF? I probably should find that unit, huh? Where is the third? Let's see. Unit organization. It's in Calcutta. Okay. So currently I'm in the process of just moving all of my parachute regiments up into Calcutta. Hopefully. Calcutta. Okay. Making sure that's good. Oil is good. Yes, I need oil. I have a lot of refineries that are running out of oil right now, so I need it. Okay, those guys will be moved by next turn. All right. So here's what we got going on in Calcutta right now. Okay. I currently have my tanks attacking for a third day here in Howrah to try to finish off these units again. Once that's taken, we're going to start strat moving units around. So these are my intent. I want to come this way and cut off and attack Lido first, and then all the other bases from this part of India into Burma to completely stop any flow of supply from India into Burma and China. That's going to be happening soon. We have this base here to do it with. In addition, I have other plans to start spreading out in all directions here. So if we look at our aircraft, I think I'm actually low on a pilot here. Alright, so I'm currently flying cap missions, long-range cap over Howrah to make sure that his bombers don't attack us there. Okay, these guys are resting up. These guys are Halra. I need some pilots. Let's see here. I don't need that many pilots. So let's go least skilled. Okay, and now I can add pilots to this unit that's got a little red number here. So we'll go get it from the reserve. Request a veteran. There we go. The sun is a deadly laser. Hey man, what a cool name. I don't think I've seen you around here before. That's a cool name, and the sun is a deadly laser. That's why I have to wear sunblock all the time. Alright, let's get a couple recon missions going here. I want to... let's see, let's fly at Tezpur again. And then let's do a recon on Lido to make sure there's nothing else going on there. Okay, and that's basically it for Calcutta. We got to take this base. That's got to happen next. So that's why we're kind of delayed right now. I need to get that done. Alright, hey, by the way, if you guys hear any crackling or popping with my microphone, let me know. I've been having some issues with it lately, so if you're having any sound distortions, I need to know about it so I can try to fix it. And then these guys are just moving up. Alright, so that's basically it for India. We're just trying to consolidate right now. That's why I'm not trying to go crazy here. I think that's it for India. And we'll check quickly on these guys. Alright, so this unit... So, look, guys, I have so many fighter reserves, it's not even funny. You're hearing pops? You're hearing pops in my microphone? Let me know if you're hearing pops. I might have to do some repairs on that real quick, so... If that's the case, I will do my best to fix it. Alright, so I have tons of fighter reserves here in Rangoon. Let's see, unit order of battle. So these guys are in Cancun. Let me make a note. Alright, so... First Sentai. It's popping. Okay. I'm gonna mute this thing. I'm gonna fix my microphone, and I'll be back with you in just a second. One moment. So don't mind me. I'm gonna fix this. Okay, guys, let me know if the microphone sounds better. I've reset it. And I'm hoping it's going to be better now. Right, if you still hear popping, let me know. But I should be back on. So we're done with India. And... Alright. Done with India and Burma. We're going to move on down to... whatchamacallit? Sumatra. And... Singapore, all that stuff. Again, please report if you hear any more popping sounds, and I'll get it fixed. You know what? Popping sounds too. Might be coming from my music. Let me try that again. Technology stinks, guys. I need to come up with a better option for my music because right now I have some free music that I'm able to use as copyright free, so I don't get like copyright hits. But the problem with it is that I'm having to stream it as I'm streaming, so sometimes we have sound issues with it. Still, huh? Yeah, it is popping, isn't it? You know what? We'll just turn the music off. Let me know if you still hear the mic pops with the music off. And if that's the case, then we'll just turn the music off and we'll finish up because I don't have too much more to do here anyway. So music's off. Hopefully the popping stops, and we'll press on from there. So let's continue here. Uh, you guys see this gaggle of ships right here? This is the invasion fleet from. Okay, let me know if it's better now because I don't have the music playing anymore. This is the invasion fleet from Calcutta. It's basically down into safety now. I wanted to clear it out because one thing that we've got going on here that's an actual real concern is the fact that we have no idea where the Allied carriers are at. They could be on their way to the Indian Ocean. In my campaign against Lodric, what? No music, no popping. Okay, it was the music then. I'll have to figure out what that's about later on. In my campaign versus Lodric, I had my carriers to the Bay of Bengal by early February 1942, and we hit him here and sank three carriers, right? Um, and that was with me making a belated effort to move my carriers to India. If Helson committed to moving his carriers from turn one, he could have them here by basically the beginning of February. And I do not want to be caught with all of my shipping in this area if the enemy CVs show up, because they very well could. And if they do, I don't have enough aircraft here to stop Alpha Strike from a carrier. I would need Kido Butai here to do that. And Kido Butai is not here. So I figured it would be best to evacuate all of my major shipping back to Singapore where we have some safety. And we'll just send small convoys up to India as needed on a guarded basis until I can establish better land based air to cover this area. I don't have that yet. The bases aren't fully built the way I need them. I don't have the aviation support that I need. So I wanted to get my major shipping out of here. And I think we're now in safety. We'll be in the Strait of Malacca next turn. In 3 turns, we'll be back in Singapore. And then I can get these ships patched up, repaired, refueled, aircraft restocked for the next operation. So what we've got going on now on Singapore is we just have a lot of units here just kind of chilling out. I like to always check to see if I have anything in strat mode like this. This fourth construction company just showed up last turn. We'll put that into combat mode. And we're currently working on building up the airfield at Singapore to a size 9 and fortifications too. Taking a look at ships under repair in Singapore, a lot of ships are getting upgraded, and some of them are getting just some minor battle damage repair. But the bulk of my ships are in a pretty decent shape. So we just landed at Benkalas. This is an oil base, so I should be able to start sending some tankers there, and I think we'll go ahead and do that. So this is a. You know what? I think we'll leave these guys here to repair the port damage here. And then I can start sending some tankers in here to start extracting this oil. So these guys, I want to unload the troops and then return to Singapore. And then we can start sending some tankers in there. Actually, I think we'll start doing that now. So let's get let's see, what is the maximum size task force we can get into Benkalas? Shipping docked is 12,000 tons maximum. So let's go ahead and find us a 12,000 ton tanker task force that can do that. Probably one of these guys. Yeah, we'll use this guy and a couple sub chasers. I think will be fine. Do I have any sub chasers? I guess not. All right, we'll try this. So this is going to be Bengalis oil. So home port's going to be Bengalis. Uh, Sun is a Deadly Laser. Are you asking about the game that we're playing? This is called War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. It's a turn-based strategy from Gary Grigsby. It came out in the early 2000s and it was updated in 2015. It's very dated, as you can see. The graphics are kind of old. The UI is not very good. It has some faults, but there is nothing else like this game for Pacific War stuff. This is the father of all turn-based strategy games, in my opinion. It's massive. From the ends of the world, you control everything here. I love this game. And if you're new to my channel, I thank you so much for stopping by to check it out. I don't know if this is your cup of tea, but we're glad to have you here anyway. I play this game every day. My whole YouTube channel basically revolves around this, and I love it. I've been playing it for 2 years straight. And I play other games too. I play first-person shooters, flight sims, all that stuff. But this is the game that holds my attention better than anything else. So we're gonna send these guys over to Bengalis to pick up some oil, and then we'll set them to remain on station. All right, next turn, guys, we will be landing in Medan. So I'm going into Medan with an airfield battalion, an AA regiment, some guards battalion, which is for you know, just some combat strength. Hmm. Make that two airfield companies. So I want to have enough aviation support to fly aircraft here to cap this place. We're going to take Medan to open up this oil and refinery, and then from there we can head north to continue defeating the enemy units that are currently held up at Langsa. And we will go ahead and rest these guys for a turn. Stand down. Stand down. Actually, you know what? We'll put them on training. Put these guys on ASW training if they're not going to be flying missions. And then this unit here can also be training. Put these guys on sweep. Cool. All right, so that's everything we need to do on Sumatra. Singapore. Looks like we need another pilot here, so we'll grab a pilot for these guys. Bomber pilots with naval torpedo skill. All right. And then these guys, we will stand them all down or put them on training. Set all Sallies to train. ASW. These guys are all naval attack again. Tanjung Balai. Let's take a peek over at tell you what, we'll go hit Medan again. No, we don't need to hit Medan. Let's hit Jambi. I want to see what he's got at Jambi. Okay, that's it for there. Okay. Okay, so now we can talk about Java. Let me save real quick because we're actually clipping along here pretty good. Let's save this. We'll call it working Java now. So Java is one place where we're actually doing really good. All right, let's give a shot to the. Let's try to turn the music back on and see if that's actually working again. I'm gonna give it a shot. 1 second. If it starts crackling again, I'm just gonna turn it off and that'll be the end of it. But I am getting tired of hearing my own voice. I like a little background noise, so let's give it one shot and see if it's gonna be better. And if I hear any more pops, I'm turning it off and that's the end of it. It's popping again. I give up. I give up, guys. No more music. Sorry. We're done with the music. Okay, so Java is actually going very good for us. So um, we're working, moving towards Tejapo, and I'm also moving towards Semarang. Let's see if we have any major roads here. No. All right, so we definitely need to take these two bases, and then from there I can take all my combat troops here that are in strat mode and move them via rail to Semarang, and then we will take Tajilajap and move up this way. I think what we're going to do here is just make sure these guys are all moving to Surabaya, which is good. This task force here is unloading cargo, minesweeper. Okay, these guys we can disband. These guys are unloading. These guys are unloading. Cool. All right. I think now we can fly some more recon missions here. So we got Semarang, Tajilat Jap, and Kalat Jadi. I think I also want to bomb Batavia again and try to take out some more of those aircraft there. So we'll set our Nels to a airfield attack at 6,000 feet on Batavia. Uh, let's see. Where are we at here? Let me catch up with the chat. Hey, Bradley, nice to see you. Can you choose what era you start in? Well, this is the Grand Campaign, so this scenario starts on December 7th, 1941. So this is World War II, the Pacific War. So I'm playing the Japanese, and we start on December 7th. We're currently on January 27th, 1942. So hitting Batavia, try to take out some more aircraft there. We'll send... These guys will escort. These guys will escort to Batavia at 6,000 feet. These guys will actually sweep ahead at 10,000 feet. 15,000 feet. Set future objectives. Yeah, you're probably right. So let's take 16th Army and set the future objective to Bandung, because that's where we're going to be held up for a while. We'll set that. We'll set these guys to Bandung as well, in lieu of something better. Set all. These guys are going to be going for Tajilat Jap. That's going to have some sort of defensive works there. These guys, we'll set these guys for Tajilat Jap as well, because they're going to be attacking that, and I know there's a fortification there. And the rest of these guys... Actually, I take that back. Well... I'll put these guys back in combat. 21st Air Flotilla, definitely back in combat. This guy into combat mode. These guys, combat mode. There we go. So the only thing that really should have strat move mode is going to be the AV producing units here, because they're going to rail forward once I take those bases. Everything else is going to stay back in Surabaya for now for support. Currently at Surabaya, we're building up the airfield at least to a size 5. Mm. I'm in the process of building up the shipyard to size 15 so we can accommodate the heaviest heavy cruisers that the Japanese have. So, for example, if we take a look at that, the heavy cruisers that, like, these ones are 10,000 tons. Let me find a bigger one. I guess I don't have any bigger ones here. Never mind. I thought I had bigger ones here, but I guess I don't. This guy we can put pier side. Let's see. Since we got everything in the base here, let's go ahead and work on. Let's work on getting all that stuff patched up too. All right, cool. Do I have any? Let's see what else I got here. Do I have any submarines here? No, I don't. Okay. All right. So, one thing I forgot to do in Singapore before we were done is I want to go ahead and get some submarines up and running down near Perth because I think that's where he's actually going to send a pretty decent amount of his shipping. So we're going to get some sub patrols going here. We'll take all of our long range subs. Make sure that they have aircraft aboard, which they do. Okay. And we're going to take these subs and relocate them to Perth. So we're going to set destination kind of down here. And there we go. I'm going to move these subs to Perth. I also have a couple other subs that look like they've come up and ready. The I-156 of 160. So let's take these guys, sub patrol, get these two subs moving. I'm going to relocate them to Victoria Point to refuel real quick and then send them over to Colombo area. Colombo relocation. Relocation. So put max react 1. Moving those guys out there. Return to Victoria Point. Cool. And we'll refuel at Victoria Point. There we go. So that's all that sub stuff. Everything else is Surabaya is looking good. See, Bradley, for PBM, do you increase the range of your react for subs? You can only go to 1. So for sub patrols, the max react is 1. See? You can't. It's either 0 or 1. No, the ASW can go higher. ASW can go up to 6 or something, but for actual sub patrols, it's a max reactive 1. Bandung. Batavia. Cool. All right. So these guys are currently going to relocate to Surabaya. So these are all the ships that are currently at Makassar. I'm packing them up, and I'm going to relocate them all to Surabaya because I have no other further use for them. I will keep a small contingent of air cover here at Makassar. It just as a way station for aircraft coming through. Ship repair. How does ship repair size relate to ship tonnage? Oh, okay. Well, let's take a look at this, Yamaguchi. The shipyard has a maximum size of 10. The 10 means it can accommodate up to 10,000 tons of ships in the shipyard for repair before it starts receiving a major penalty. Ooh, got one too many units operating here. What can I do to stop it? Maybe if I put these guys to rest. There we go. shipyard size is tonnage in thousands of tons, right? So if you look here, your shipyard capacity is 10,000. I'm expanding it to 15,000 so that I can accommodate up to 15,000 tons of ship or multiple ships that equal 10,000, 15,000 tons. But I do realize that a lot of the Japanese heavy cruisers are really heavy. Like look at the Tone, for example, 13,000 tons. Takao, 14, almost 15,000 tons. These are humongous heavy cruisers. By far the largest heavy cruisers the world was ever had. Because the Japanese cheated on the Washington Naval Treaty, um, so that they were supposed to be building 10,000 ton uh, heavy cruisers, but they were like 15,000 ton, and everybody knew it because you can just look at the sheer dimensions of the ship and realize that um, ain't no 10,000 ton ship. Yes, so battleships obviously they weigh a ton, right? So if I look at a ton, if you look at the Nagato, for example, it weighs 42,000 tons, right? Or that's the displacement. I would need a shipyard size of 42 or greater to even put it in the shipyard. So I could accommodate one at Singapore, I could accommodate one at Hong Kong, and so on and so forth. As a Japanese, obviously you can expand your shipyards as much as you want. The Allies don't have that luxury. They don't get to expand theirs. The Japanese do. So I could theoretically turn Surabaya into a 50,000 ton capacity shipyard, but I would have to spend 40,000 supply to do it, and it's not worth it to me when I could just sail a few extra days to Singapore and get the same thing. So I'm making Surabaya big enough to accommodate one Japanese heavy cruiser because I do expect to be running a raiding ships out here later on as the campaign goes on. And if we do get damaged out here in an attack, I want to have Surabaya as a base that we can retreat to do emergency repairs. That's my mindset behind building up Surabaya's shipyard a little bit bigger. Because the biggest ships I will likely operate on raids out here is going to be a heavy cruiser. So that's what's going to get damaged. I want to have somewhere to park it before having to get into Singapore. So that's why I'm doing that. Anyway, we are done on Java. Let me save the game real quick. Okay, we'll take a quick peek around here. I'm sending these guys to pick up these aircraft at Kupang. I'm going to be relocating my Mavis unit. So actually, these guys are going to be heading down to Kupang to secure my southern flank because I don't have any good naval search down here. So I'm moving those guys here soon. But I want to pick up this Pete unit, which has just been training ASW, and bring it back somewhere else. And then these guys are going to load troops, and we're going to pick up... let's see. I want to leave something at Ambon. Which one would be better to leave? We'll leave these guys. We'll pick up the 9th. So load troops. We're going to pick up the 9th. Except... Let's see where did I send the rest of these guys? So Task Force 219. Where the heck is Task Force 219? Okay, now I don't even know where I have my own ships at. Task Force 219. That's not what I asked for. Oh, Surabaya. Okay, that makes sense. Task Force 219. Okay, awesome. Hey, you're welcome, Yamaguchi. I'm glad I was able to help explain that. I will send these guys over to Surabaya to recombine that thing. Cool. So, guys, check this out. I'm being sneaky here. Shh, don't tell Helson. We've already started moving oil out of the Dutch East Indies at Babbo. So we have an oil base here, and I have an oil base at Bula. Okay. So I am in the process of loading up oil. These are CS convoys, constant supply. So they're going to be running back and forth between Babel and Bula and Babel. And then from there, I will accumulate oil at Babel Douab and ship it back to the home islands as needed. Okay, that's just the first of many oil operations we're going to have to undertake in the Dutch East Indies because we also have Surabaya has oil, or Java has oil, obviously a ton of oil in Borneo and Palembang. So we're going to have multiple different convoys moving oil, but these ones are kind of sneaky. I don't even think Helson realizes we're doing it because they're really small, unsubstantial bases. So we can get away with this, and he won't even ever know it. So this will be the first Dutch East Indies oil heading back towards the home islands very soon. And then these guys, I actually have here picking up leftover supply that we dropped during the beginning of the campaign, right? So I have 5,000 supplies sitting here at Sarong. I don't need that there. So these ships are going to pick it up and ship it back to Babel so I can distribute it later on. I have a unit here at Ternate. I have a bunch of supply there that didn't need to be there. So we're going to take this and ship it over to Mindanao just to make sure we have enough supply for our operations there. I also have a task force at Manado because we have 4,000 supplies sitting there. The reason that we have that much supply sitting at Manado is this was one of the first bases we took on day one of the campaign. And I made this my forward air base for conquering all of this stuff. So I put way more supply in here than I probably needed to. So I'm in the process of picking it up, and we're going to take it and move it back to Babel for redistribution somewhere else. So these guys are going to go back to Babel with this supply when they're done. It could take a few days to load that much supply. Yeah, so that's basically what I'm doing. I'm policing up, and I'm going to continue doing this operation in the coming weeks. Right, I've got supply at Kandari. I got supply at Makassar. We don't need all that supply there, so I'm just going to pick it up and move it to the other places where I need it more. All right, so I think we're done in the Dutch East Indies. Let's take a quick peek here. All right, let me save it real quick, and then we'll start talking about the last big thing we've got on this turn, which is the Solomons area and Australia, which is actually a big problem right now. So let's save it under DEI done. Mm. Okay. All right. So I think we're done out here. Let's see, what are these guys doing? They're unloading fuel. These guys are unloading fuel. I'm trying to unload these ships. I don't want to keep anything on them that doesn't need to be there. So unload. All right. Gin and tonic tonight. Yes, sir. I love day drinking, man. I had a hard weekend. I had to work this weekend, so I didn't get much rest. Mm. So I'm drinking now. Okay, so I think we're done down here. Let's take a look at the Solomons area, and we'll briefly go over a couple things. You see that I'm sending a lot of ships back, right? So I've realized that Rabaul is always dangerous for me because the Allies, if they really wanted to plow through here, they really could. I would see them coming for days, but if the Allies wanted to just kind of plow right on through and go right for Rabaul, I've got nothing there to really stop them right now. So what I'm looking to do here is, let's see, what I'm looking to do here is get all unnecessary shipping out of here because it doesn't serve any purpose to having ships sitting in this port. All it is bait for his bombers to come take it out. So I've been slowly reducing my footprint in Rabal and shipping ships back to the home islands if they're not absolutely necessary somewhere else. And the same thing at Truk. I need to look at Truk and reevaluate what's there and see if it's worthwhile to keep those ships there. Yeah, so we're in the process of relocating that stuff. As far as the actual Rabal itself, it's really nothing major happening here. Just have a couple ASW ships that I brought back for refueling. We don't actually need them deployed right now, so I disband them because there's no point. They just make my screen look cluttered. All right. Um, I want to tell you guys a little secret, and I probably shouldn't, but whenever you disband a task force that has a low task force number, it would be a good idea for you to come in here and put up a placeholder task force to reserve that task force number for your uses later on, because the game still does. Um, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that a lot of the I didn't mention carriers at all, and I'm not going to because they're currently at an undisclosed location. Um, don't worry about the carriers; they're fine. You wanna go in and make sure you reserve all of these task force numbers because there's strong evidence to suggest that these task force numbers do come into play during naval and air engagements, and there is reason to believe that the lower task force numbers move first, go first, they do something first. I can't prove it, but there's enough anecdotal evidence for me to believe that that might be a thing. So every turn I go through here and I pick up every task force that I can that has a low number and I reserve it for myself. And here's the reason why I do that is because, guys, and this is going to be a revelation to maybe some of you who play this game. These task force numbers are shared by both the Allies and the Japanese. We don't each get a Task Force 1. There's only one Task Force 1 in the game. So I want the lower Task Force numbers for myself. So anytime I disband a Task Force, every turn I go through here and I check to see what the next Task Force number is going to be. And sometimes you might find a little gem, because I don't know if Helson knows this, but if he has a low Task Force number and he disbands that task force number becomes available for me to take, and I'm going to take it and steal it from him. If you take a look here, we have a lot of the low task force numbers reserved for ourselves. See that? I have a lot of low task force numbers, and in many places, I have simply just stolen the task force number, and I have a stupid single ship task force clogging it up and keeping it for myself. So he can't use it. Because if we get into combat, I want the lower task force numbers for myself. Again, I have no concrete manual driven proof that the lower task force number means anything, but so many people have played this game for long enough that they are convinced that there is a thing about lower task force numbers getting first dibs on movement, combat, detection, you name it. This game does seem to rely a lot on database number positions, right? Like these database numbers here. It relies pretty heavily on that stuff for determining what goes first, what moves first, what is shown, what isn't. And there's enough proof out here to suggest that the task force numbers mean a thing. So I every turn go in and I steal every low task force number that I possibly can, so Helson can't have it because it's a shared pool of task forces. So if I look here, anything where I see a break in this number means that Helson has that number. So do you see how there's no 19 or 20? It's because Helson has a task force 19 and 20. Do you see how there's no task force 33? Because he has a task force 33. He has it. If he accidentally disbands that task force and does not reserve that task force number, next turn I can take it. So, yeah, don't tell him this. Shh. I don't know if he knows this or not. I know it. And every turn I make sure I steal all those task force numbers. Okay. Let's finish up here and talk about my huge problem that I've got here. So, last turn, we saw two Allied heavy cruiser task forces operating in this area. They were previously down here, right? I lost sight of them. They moved up this way. One bombarded Townsville and skedaddled. I assume that it used up all its ammo and is heading back down towards Brisbane to rearm. Because bombardments take up the bulk of your ammunition. However, there's a second heavy cruiser task force, and let's find out exactly where it's at. So if we go to the combat report, let's find where that was engaged at. Right here. 97 145. I think that's about here. Okay. All right. Follow along with my logic here, guys. I hope you understand what I'm about to say. This is the hex that he sank my um my two transport ships. And it was happened in the PM phase. So meaning this was the maximum movement of his ships for the whole naval movement phase. This is 9 hexes from Cooktown, and that's where I think he's going because I have a lot of aircraft here. So this is 9 hexes to Cooktown. What I think he's trying to do is take this heavy cruiser task force and bombard Cooktown with it. So here's the thing. The maximum speed of these heavy cruisers at full speed is 9 hexes. And there are 2 movement pulses per turn. There's an AM and a PM one, right? Or a nighttime and a daytime. If he goes 9 hexes in the nighttime phase, that will use up 100% of his ops points for that phase. He would not be able to bombard until the end of the daytime phase, but by that time, my aircraft will have had 2 chances to attack. So here's what I'm going to do this next turn, and this is very risky in case my understanding of the game engine is incorrect, or I'm not understanding this thing correctly. What I'm going to do is not retreat my aircraft from Cooktown, but instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to double down on this fool, and we're going to take all of our Bettys. We're going to set them to about, I don't know, 6,000. Tell you what, we'll keep the range. We'll keep the range at 10 because I don't want to get cap trapped, right? We'll set the range to 10, and we're going to put these guys on naval attack with torpedoes. Range 10. Set all level bombers to this. So now I'm going to use these guys to attempt to sink his heavy cruisers. Now, he very well may not even do this, but I want to be ready just in case. So what we're going to do is we'll put these guys on 30% search. Tell you what, we'll take it out to 12, and we'll see how far that range is. Set all level bombers. Okay. We're going to put these guys to escort just in case they get cap trapped. So we'll clear that. Set these guys to 6,000. These guys, what we are going to do is we're going to stand them down and evacuate these guys over to Port Moresby just in case. I want to get out as many non-essential aircraft as possible here. So we'll take this Babs unit. We're going to stand them down, and we're going to transfer them as well to Port Moresby. So I am going to evacuate some stuff just to be on the safe side. But I'm going to use my Bettys and my Nels with torpedoes to potentially strike back at his cruisers should they come and try to engage here. So the maximum range that we will go is going to be 12 hexes, which puts us about here. That does get us a little bit close to Rockhampton. That is a little bit dangerous, but we're going to also have I'm going to basically put these guys to escort them so that they don't really get cap trapped. Or if they get cap trapped, oh shit. I don't know. I think it might be okay to you know what? Here's what we're gonna do. The heck with it. I'm gonna set all of these guys, set all zeros to this mission. So we have maximum escort for these guys. So these will be heavily escorted. Yeah, that's the plan. So I've got about 60 naval bombers with torpedoes and pilots that are decent at this. And let's hope for the best. So there we go. And then let's make sure our air HQ has torpedoes, which we do. We're going to set this to uh, 80 torpedoes because I don't want to run out. Actually, no. I've run out of torpedoes before. That was embarrassing. Well, I guess that's all we can have. We probably don't have enough supply for more. So we've got torpedoes armed and ready. I'm going to leave these two destroyers in this hex as not bait, but to defend it, to also try to eat up more of his ops points. Okay, so these guys have max react to 1. They're going to stay in this hex. And this guy here is going to get the heck out of Dodge. So we're going to have him retreat to Port Moresby at maximum full speed. And get him the heck out of here because I don't want him getting engaged. Let's go direct. Okay. So that's our plan in Australia, guys. We're going to hopefully catch his heavy cruisers out before they have a chance to bombard us in Cooktown and sink a couple of them. I also have these destroyers here will act as bait to keep them distracted. Mr. Landry says that having done battle in this hex over here, they may be out of ammo. Well, they may or they may not. They didn't shoot that many shells to sink those 2 APDs, so they still may have ammo for this mission. So I have to assume the worst that they will, and we will try to catch them in an aerial torpedo attack. So this is bad for me because one, I'm not bombing Cloncurry, which I should be doing for the strat point. So I'm wasting a turn doing that. And two, if I got this wrong or my bombers don't hit the targets or any number of things don't work, he's going to bombard Cooktown next turn and destroy a lot of my aircraft. So this could easily turn out very badly for me. So this is very risky. The safe thing for me to do would be to take all these aircraft and fly them back to Rabaul and call it a day and wait it out. But I'm going to take a little bit more of a risky strategy here and go for this and see if we can sink a couple of his heavy cruisers. Because I will gladly trade all these aircraft for those heavy cruisers all day. Because I can replace the aircraft and the pilots, but the heavy cruisers are harder to get. There is a theoretically infinite amount of pilots and aircraft that I can build, but there is a very finite amount of heavy cruisers that he's going to get. So I've done the math and I've determined this is what I'm going to do. And what we're talking about here is really pushing your knowledge of the game engine to the absolute max. Okay, if you don't know about movement and how many hexes they can go and ops points and when they bombard and when they don't, you would think that this is a really bad idea. But if you understand how the game works, you can see on paper this could be good. So one issue here that could cause us, that could be a showstopper, is weather, and that's something that I cannot predict. This weather report is useless. Utterly see, this says that this whole region here has a forecast of clear skies, right? Well, look at the weather we have in Australia right now. There's bad weather everywhere, all over the place. So apparently, that bad weather, um, it shouldn't be here. It should be clear skies, but it's not. So you cannot count on this weather forecast one bit. It could say clear skies all at once. Obviously, at Cooktown, it's severe storms. That could potentially ground our aircraft if this can persist in the next turn. It's a risk. I understand it. I'm still going to do it. Also, what I'm going to do here is take these guys, take these subs, and I'm going to start building a barrier around Brisbane because I think that he is going to start coming back in here to rearm and refuel those ships at some point. So we're going to go in here and we're going to set up some sub patrols here to try to catch any of his heavy cruisers that A, come back for refuel, or B, um, or just or damaged from maybe our torpedo attack. We'll put this guy patrol zone here to there. All right, so we're gonna set up that sub patrol like so, and you never know. We may actually catch something here coming back into Brisbane, because this is the port that I assume that he's gonna come into to rearm his heavy cruisers or repair them if they get damaged uh, further north, because it's closest base. He's got air cover here. He'll think that it's safe. So if I park a lot of subs here, it could work out. And these guys are heading back in for fuel. We'll send this guy to Rabaul for repair. Rabaul repair. All right. And then next turn, I have these guys going into here. Remain on station, lay mines at Nemea. Man, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? But yeah, that's what our plan is here, guys. That's what we're going to do next turn. I hope it's successful. I hope it works exactly as I think it will. We may be able to sink some of his heavy cruisers next turn. So that is basically it for the turn. What I'm going to do now is just go down here, and before I end every turn, like the last thing I do is I set up, so 27 Jan 42, turn 52 backup. So I save the game in the current state that it's in just before I hit end turn, so that if anything goes wrong or I need to go back and review what the heck I did, if I messed something up, I can go look at the state of the game the second before I hit end turn, so I can see if I messed something up. So I always save it. I call it a backup, and I keep about 30 days turns worth of these backups, just in case something happens. And it also helps me go back and review and see if I screwed something up, or what I was thinking on the 1st of January. What was my mindset, or where was I at that time? That's why I do that. Anyway, I have a question in the chat here. Let me start with Renew. You asked, what is the ground situation in Australia? I will be happy to show you. So, we are currently in a bad way because he bombed our troops to death in Emerald. I know for a fact that he's got troops at Emerald. And it looks like he also has troops here and here. So let's watch this. It looks like he's got troops here moving up towards Bowen. All right. So the ground situation is he just bombarded these guys here last turn with his heavy cruisers. We are now in full retreat. I am taking all of my ground troops that are here. I'll show you. Uh-oh. Did I break the game? Okay. All these troops that are here, we are moving towards Cairns because it is a safer, easier base for us to defend, and it is within air cover of Cooktown. So I'm retreating to Cairns. We are done advancing at this time. I am not sending any more troops to Australia. This whole operation was for me to get strat bombing points out of Cloncurry and whatever else I could get elsewhere, and to be a diversion for our India attack, which I think worked correctly because we came in over a week before in Australia, as opposed to where we went into India. So I think we were able to distract Helson from our major operations up there. But we are in full retreat with whatever ground forces I have towards Cairns. Eventually, we will fall back to Cooktown, and at some point, when the situation becomes completely untenable, we will evac to Port Moresby and other places in the Solomons and build our defense perimeter there. That is the ground situation in Australia right now. Okay, let me catch up. Bob Kovalchik, I hope I'm saying your name right. I don't think I've ever seen your name before. It's really nice to see you. Thank you for joining me on this stream. So you said you just got back into wargaming. Uh, I don't know if you've ever played this game before, but this is, in my opinion, the father of all. Um, this is the father of all ground turn-based strategy games, man. War in the Pacific is the best. It's old, it's dated, it has some issues, but there's just nothing else like it, and I don't know that there ever will be again. So this game lives on in 2023, and I intend to keep it living on until 2053 if necessary, because there's just nothing better. If you want to play a grand strategy game for World War II Pacific, this is it. There's nothing better. Mm. All right, guys. I'm gonna get close to wrapping this thing up. I've done all the moves. If there's anything else you guys want to see, let me know. Put it in the chat. I will wrap this up and I will go over a few things with you now. Let's take a look at our ground reinforcement situation. But first, I think I want to go ahead and do this. So at Saipan, I have this Pete unit that needs to withdraw. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take all the pilots and we're going to move them to the reserve. Okay. Then we're going to take all the aircraft. Then we're going to take the aircraft and we're going to hit withdraw. If I withdraw this unit now, I get 20 political points. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I should get those aircraft to my pool. I think. I think that's how that works. Operations report. I think they go back into the pool. Yeah. So I withdrew those aircraft. Um, I get all those Pete's back. The pilots I get to save. I get 20 political points from my trouble. And now I get those guys off the map. Um, I think there may be some other units that have to withdraw as well. I'm not sure. Let me just check real quick. That might be the only one that urgently needs to withdraw. So that was pretty cool. When you withdraw a unit, you get to keep the pilots, keep the planes, you get political points if you do it early. Uh, yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's take a look at ground reinforcements in the next 30 days. So ground reinforcement schedule. In 5 days, I get some SNLF units. One of which is a parachute regiment. In 6 days, and this would be really nice, I get a lot of garrison units in China, which I can put to good use because it'll free up some good divisions for places like Shanghai where I have a lot of garrison requirement. In the Kwangtung area, which is Manchukuo, we get a bunch of aviation support. In 19 days or so in Tokyo, we get 5 Naval Guard units and a bunch of other support units. And right up to the 30-day unit, we get more garrison units that we can deploy elsewhere to take up some of those garrison requirements and free up my divisions for other things. So I like what I'm getting in the next 30 days for ground units. A lot of assault, a lot of support coming in all over the map. Taking a look at aircraft reinforcements, in 5 days we get about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 training units in Manila, Davao. Where the heck is Davao? Where's Davao? Oh, over here. Mindanao. We get a bunch of aircraft training units in 5 days. In 10 days, looks like we get another sub. 14 days, we get another beta unit at Chiba. Well, that'll be nice because I could use more of those. And in between 16 and 19 days, we get a bunch of training units in mainland Japan or the home islands. So that'll be good. So lastly, let's take a look at what ships we look to get in the next 30 days. And for that, we're going to go look at Tracker because Tracker is by far the best way to keep track of your ship production. So ship production. Let's sort it by date of arrival. And we will get rid of these halted things because I don't need to worry about that. Halted. Gone. So in the next 30 days, we're going to be getting two sub chasers, an oiler. Okay, three sub chasers, a tanker, a couple cargo ships, a destroyer, and a submarine, an I-28, which I believe is a aircraft carrying. Yep, this is the aircraft carrying sub, so that'll be good. What else do we get? We're also be getting another destroyer, three more submarines, a seaplane tender, which is really good. That's basically it. So it looks like we're getting about six subs, three destroyers, two AOs, and a bunch of other smaller ships. So that's what we're getting in the next 30 days. Here, I can get rid of these queued ones too and just stack them up. So today's the 27th. So by 27th Feb, everything on this list here is what we're going to be getting. Good stuff. Quite a bit of submarines. So that's it. All right, guys. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see. And then, if not, I'm going to close this down and thank you guys. I will work on the music. I'll try to figure out why we're having this weird noise, the popping sound. That was clearly what was causing the issues on the stream. So I will fix that, and then we will have a better stream next time. But as always, I want to thank you guys so much for being here and being part of my campaign. My favorite part about all of this is engaging with the community and talking to you guys and taking your input and telling you my thoughts. That's why I do all this stuff, because I could find other uses for my hour and a half of my day, but I really enjoy this interaction that we have. So real quick to end this video, soccer coaching. I don't coach, but I ref, and my daughter's team is having a fantastic season so far. They are 3-0, and every single game they've played has been more or less a big blowout. So, like their game on Saturday, they went 6-1. The game before that was 5-1. The first game was like 7-0. So my daughter's team is really good this season. So it's going well. Thank you so much for asking. Anyway, guys, I think that's it for now. If you want to ask me more questions, please come over to my Discord server. I'll be happy to entertain you there. And I will talk about even more than I'll talk about here. So if there's nothing further, I'll catch you guys on the next one.